All right, going live in three, two. Yo, 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 welcome back to the Core94 Presents. I'm your host, DG Bags, and today we have a very special guest. We're talking about an upcoming artist that's really doing his thing. You just heard his record, Luxury, playing, been spinning on the station. Without further ado, Josh Chapman.
Hey, how you doing, man? Thanks for having me.
Man, absolutely. How you feeling, brother?
Feeling good, man. You know, getting my song played on the radio, man. You know, I can't complain, man. Can't complain.
Amen, amen. You can't complain. I tell people all the time, if you made it past the pandemic and you don't have gratitude, I feel sorry for you.
Man, definitely. Gotta be grateful every day, man. Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. So, let's talk about this Luxury record, man. How did that come about? Who's the producer on that record?
So the producer, I reached out to this guy his name is Narcotics, and he's just a producer from I forgot where he's from, but I reached out to him through a friend, and pretty much I just told him how much I appreciated the song, and I was just gonna tell him, this special song, and if I could write to it, man. He just gave me the blessing, and how I write my songs. Usually, I kind of be in the studio by myself, and a lot of times I'm just playing with the melodies, and then it just came about pretty well. And shout out to Daniel who engineered this song. So it came about kind of in a way like of just being always in the mode of always kind of grinding out songs and just making songs, and just naturally when you in that gym just kind of creating songs, you get a song like Luxury.
Absolutely. I'm glad you said that, because I was going to ask you what was your process of recording, or did you do you have the songs already written? Do you come to the studio with your clip full, or do you just cook while you're there? You pretty much answer that, especially with your style and the type of music. I don't know if you do multiple genres,
Yeah.
but I know in that genre that you do, having a good producer and able to jump in off what's already created and add your flows to it just makes it beautiful.
Yeah, and I've always to kind of like get more into the depth of me like making my songs. I pretty much I like to just so if you ever heard of an app called BandLab, like I like to actually put in the work of just arranging the songs, because I like to actually arrange it my way more so than just going to the studio, because that's how I got into the beginning of songwriting. I didn't have the access to actual studio, so I actually had like a home studio, and pretty much I just kind of learned how to work with a regular it's a, like, how they got like FL Studio and all these other platforms.
Right.
I worked with this. It's a platform called Studio One, and it was just like a regular, platform.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I used to rock with them. I started with them and the R8.
Right. So it's like you get that basic thing to start with, and just playing with it every single day. I learned how to make a song and songwrite, and it just ended up just being practice. And coming out with just great songs. So I started with that. It was actually the reason I kind of started actually making songs come from a viral video where I was actually just messing around in the studio, and I just wanted to showcase it. And I remember I showed it I just put it on Instagram, not even really thinking about it, and the next thing I know, it was like over 600 shares. And it kind of just kind of trickled from there. So that started my journey of just writing songs.
Man, that's crazy. So how many years ago was this?
This was in October of 2021. I had got my studio in June of 2021, but like I was just kind of learning how to write songs. I wasn't kind of like prepared, so I waited till October to kind of feel very confident in putting my song out there. And a lot of people had just reached out as far as saying, how it's a unique style. It's unlike any other. and that, that they mess with it, because that's what I'm trying to create. I'm trying to create something new and profound, where I'm not mimicking like the next artist. When you hear Josh Chapman, you can hear the distinctiveness in his voice. You know what I mean? So that's the art that I'm trying to portray in my music.
That's why we rock with you, Josh. That's
Yes, sir.
precisely why. I
Yes,
tell
sir.
people the most valuable thing right now is originality and original idea.
Yeah.
And I kind of want to go back a little bit as well when you was in that studio recording and mastering your craft.
Yes, sir.
How did you feel the first time you heard your voice? Because I know the first time I went to the studio, I couldn't believe I didn't sound the way I thought I
Right.
sounded in my ear. I was destroyed. It took
Yeah.
me a while before I could appreciate my voice as an instrument. And
Yeah.
like you say, you sound original. You're doing your own thing. So how long did that take to craft that whole thing right there?
So it's funny you say that. I would say it took about 12 years because I didn't even make a song. Because essentially, I was just singing. I was learning because I taught myself how to sing. And so I was just always, when I was younger, I was around 12 years old. I just always would want to learn how to sing. And so I would just record a video of myself just singing, in the phone. And back then, I really didn't like how I sounded, so I didn't feel comfortable even singing. I just always enjoyed just the mass, the overall just completion of the actual songs that I was hearing. So it almost took me around 12 years to put out my first song, because I was learning how to sing, number one, because I didn't have access to actual technical singing. And I also wanted to learn how to just make us a voice, because sometimes when people are teaching you how to sing, they want you to sing their way. I wanted to always find an originality, and I know a lot of people that are self-taught singers that had such a unique voice, and so I always just was experimenting for 12 years. And by the time how I was experimenting putting out a song, I was already comfortable by my voice by then. It was just a matter of time of making a song that makes sense.
Right, right. And what helped me, just like you said, in those 12 years, what helped me is in time of mastering my vocalist skills, or however you want to put it,
Right.
I was still creating songs. So
Mm-hmm.
by the time I got comfortable with my voice, I was already a master at songwriting. So
Yeah.
I was secure in the songs that I'm recording, or that I'm rapping or singing or whatever, because
Right.
the song is so good. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? It's well crafted.
Yeah. And that's pretty good, because a lot of artists right now just want to just jump into artistry, not learning, not doing the research. Michael Jackson always said that he studied the greats in order to become great. So that's what I've done for such a and that's what I've done for such a long time. I studied people like Michael Jackson, Beyonce, Chris Brown, Bryson Tiller, all of these artists, because I always wanted to be. Let me kind of step back, because I didn't always want to be an artist. I never wanted to really be a singer. I just enjoyed the art of singing, and music kind of found me. So once I kind of stepped more deeper into it, I realized, this path is for me. You know what I mean? Like, this wasn't something, because a lot of artists, they have this dream of just jumping into just being an artist. Like, I just wanted to learn how to just sing covers. You know what I mean? This wasn't like a dream I started at a young age. It just kind of eventually came to me, because I learned how to interact with people. That ties into songwriting, because you can't make a song if you're not able to relate to other people. So I always wanted to understand the art of not just making a song, but understanding the art of human nature and understanding the art of human behavior, because once you can understand that, then many more people can become relatable to the songs that you create.
Well, I tell you this, Josh, I'm excited about your evolution, because it sounds like you're just an artist, you're just a creative. So I don't even think this is the end. I don't think you're done blossoming.
I know.
And wait till other artists and the other people that you inspire who want to be original and creative, or even those artists, or even the artist that's already out, because you are already a great songwriter. So that's another bag by itself. You don't
Yes,
have to
sir.
sing all the things.
Yes, sir. And that's what, like, when I made, when I made the the pact with myself to become an artist, and that promise, my biggest thing is to inspire. I want to inspire, impact people creating music. My goal isn't to just jump into this and make crazy amounts of money and just flex on people. Like, my trueness and my my fullness in making music is making an impact on people's lives. And we don't get that in music anymore. A lot of people are just looking at this as an opportunity to make more money, but they don't fall in love with the process of understanding how to make a song, and how to make a song really impact other people's lives. You know what I mean? Because that's what music was for me. You know what I mean? A lot of songs that I've listened to was impactful to my life and honed who I became. So I just want to just pass the torch. The biggest thing is to just, for me, is to make a etch into the music history, make a mark into it. This is something that I want to be a part of music history, because something great about music is it never ends. We can still listen to Michael Jackson songs 30, 40 years from now, because he's left an everlasting impact. And that's what I want to do when I make my music.
Where you from?
I'm from Homewood, Illinois, but it's the Chicago suburbs. So I'm from the Chicago suburbs of Illinois.
Got you.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to hold too much of your time, but I do want to know. I know you say Michael Jackson, but who are some of the artists that you listen to today?
Today, definitely, Beyonce, Chris Brown, Bryson Tiller, Tyler. If the one that's just up and coming, I'm really just enamored with how she is, not just the song, but her marketing. How she's putting together the rollout of every song that she's making. It's a genius. I definitely give kudos to her team, because a lot of people are really enamored with who she is and what she's doing. So I'm definitely gaining a lot of inspiration from her and a lot of these artists, because I'm not just a singer. I dance as well. So I'm trying to build a production aspect. So when you hear luxury, and when you see the actual music video, it's going to be an actual choreography to it. So it's more than just the song and the singing of it. So I've also directed and edited 6 of the music videos that I've already had out. So it's
I told you, I knew you was a creative. You ain't done. You dancing. You doing the whole wop.
Yeah.
You editing. I'm telling you, I know, man. I'm excited, bro.
Yes, sir.
You keep doing what you're doing, bro.
Yes,
you
sir.
Keep pressing. I got one more question. I know that I said that was the last one. Forgive me, but since you said you perform and all that, what do you enjoy more, the recording and the process of the song, or actually performing?
I'm actually starting to. I will say performing, definitely, because the song is supposed to be an inspiration, but I think the fullness of the song is when you're able to perform it in front of people, and you're able to put on a production and actually give people a visual experience. That's what my true art of making the song is really lies in. It's to make the performance aspect much grander than the song. You know what I mean? So that's where I'm going to make a bigger, yes, a big impact. And like I said, this everybody that that sees and hear this, understand that this is just the genesis of this next big thing that's going to come about. Because a lot of people, they're saying R&B and the R&B singers is dead, or but there's going to be something that a lot of people are going to be just actually happy that there's another person that does the performance aspect and actually got the art of bringing a production to a grand stage.
My man, well said. Man, like I said, I don't want to hold you up too much, bro. We
Yes, sir.
appreciate you so much. Before we get out of here, can you tell everybody where they can find you on social media if they want to feature, where
Yes,
they
sir.
can find your music, and when that music video is coming out?
Okay, so music video coming out soon. No timetable for it. But as far as if you want to find out, you can follow my Instagram at Josh Chapman2Fly, Josh Chapman Chatman 2, the number 2, and then fly. On Instagram and TikTok, Josh is JChat72. But it's going to get changed to Josh Chapman. So pretty much I'm trying to make everything Josh Chapman2Fly. So if you just search up Josh Chapman, you're going to pretty much find everything.
And just like that, I'm your host, DG Bags. And you can find me on Instagram at DG Bags. That's at DGBAGGS or at the core94. And make sure you stay tuned to the core94.com where we're giving you the hottest music, the dopest interviews, and the latest news, period. I'd like to thank our special guest, Josh Chapman.
Yes,
you know,
sir.
he the flowers.
Yes,
but
sir.
before we get out of here, please give us a drop. Can you say this is Josh Chapman on the Core 94?
Yo, what's up, man? This is Josh Chapman on the Core 94.
Yeah. Luxury.
Yes, sir.